I never believed in demons. Not ghosts, not spirits, not anything beyond the normal world. But one night alone at home changed everything, and whatever is left of me now is not alive in any normal sense. I had school the next day, so I stayed home while my parents left in the morning. I watched their car disappear down the road, feeling a little lonely, but also excited to have the whole house to myself. I made noodles, cleaned my room, and spent most of the afternoon working on a school project. Everything felt normal until the sun started dropping toward the horizon. The light faded faster than usual, as if the sky wanted darkness to come early. I turned on the TV to keep myself company. The house felt still in a way I didn't like. I kept checking the windows for no reason. When I looked outside around 9 p.m., the road was empty, the trees barely moving, and the sky had turned black faster than I expected. I muttered, "It's just a quiet night," but the words sounded strange in the silence. I sat on the living room floor with papers spread out in front of me. The TV played a show I wasn't watching. I forced myself to focus on my project, but something in the room felt heavier, like the air was thick with pressure I couldn't explain. I tried to ignore it. Then came the first knock. It wasn't loud, just a single tap on the front door. I froze. No one visits our house at night. I turned the TV down and walked to the peephole. The porch light was on, and the front step was empty. No movement. No shadow. Nothing. My heart slowed, and I tried to laugh at myself. Maybe it was the wind or the wood settling. Houses make sounds, right? I went back to the living room, telling myself not to be dramatic. 2 minutes later, I heard another knock. But this time it came from the back door. It was soft but clear. A single tap on the glass. I didn't move right away. My breath caught in my chest. After a few seconds I stood up, keeping close to the wall so whoever was outside couldn't see me through the glass. I peeked around the corner. The glass door showed only darkness. The yard looked like a black ocean. The porch light back there was off, so I couldn't see anything. I waited. Nothing moved. No more taps. But the air felt wrong. Heavy. Thick. Like someone had stepped inside the house without opening a door. Then I heard footsteps outside. Slow. Measured. Circling the house. I stood perfectly still. The footsteps were soft, almost gentle, but each one felt like it carried weight. They moved from the back door to the side of the house, then toward the living room window. I moved to sit behind the couch, holding my breath. A shadow passed across the window. I saw it even through the curtains, just a faint shift of darkness. Whoever was out there was tall. The footsteps stopped. Silence pressed against the walls. I grabbed my phone and called my parents. No answer. Probably enjoying their night at the wedding. I called my neighbor 2 houses down. He didn't pick up either. I was about to call another number when I heard a soft breath against the living room window. Then a voice. "Let me in." The words were quiet, almost polite, spoken inches from the glass. I dropped my phone. The voice repeated itself, a little slower. "Let me in." I stayed frozen, staring at the curtains. I whispered, "No, no, no." The voice answered, "You heard me." That broke me. I grabbed my phone and called 911. The operator asked what was happening. I whispered that someone was outside my house whispering through the window. She told me to stay inside and stay quiet, and police were on the way. Before I could say anything else, the voice spoke again. "You should have stayed silent." The phone cut off. The screen went dark. No service. The house filled with a deeper silence. Not empty silence. Listening silence. Something was waiting. I backed away into the hallway. I tried not to look at the living room window, but something scratched the glass behind me, slow and long. It sounded like a nail dragging down the pane. I ran to my bedroom and locked the door. I pushed a chair under the handle and sat on the floor beside my bed. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't keep still. For a few minutes, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Then I heard another sound. A tap on my bedroom window. I stared at the curtain. This window was on the second floor. No one could reach it without a ladder. Tap. Tap. Then a long scratch across the glass. I crawled closer, staying low. A dark shadow moved behind the curtain, tall and thin. Something pressed its face against the fabric. The outline bulged inward. "Let me show you what I am," the voice whispered. It was quiet, like it didn't need to speak loudly to be heard. "No," I whispered. The shadow leaned closer. 5 long fingers pressed against the curtain, pushing the fabric in. The fingertips were sharp. The shape was wrong. The air in the room felt cold and heavy. "You already invited me," the voice said. I backed away to the door and held the lock. Then everything went silent again. I waited for maybe 15 minutes, listening to my heartbeat more than the house. When I thought it might be gone, I slowly moved the dresser away from the door. I turned the lock and pushed the door open. The hallway was dark. Still, empty. I took one step out, then another. Halfway down the hallway, I smelled something burning, like a match blown out too soon. I turned to look behind me. A tall, black figure stood at the end of the hallway. Its head touched the ceiling. Its body was thin like stretched charcoal. Its arms were too long, hanging past its knees. Its eyes were deep holes that pulled the light in. Its mouth was wide and still. It didn't walk toward me. It drifted, as if the air carried it. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. The demon lifted a long hand and touched the wall. The paint around its fingers burned black. "You feared the night," it said softly. "That is why I came." I stumbled backward until I hit the stairs. I fell, rolling down the steps. When I hit the bottom, the house shook a little. I ran to the front door and pulled it open. I stepped out onto the porch. Something grabbed me from behind. Not a hand made of flesh, something smoky and hot, like fire in the shape of a hand. It wrapped around my neck, not tight, just firm. "You cannot leave what is inside you," the demon whispered. The world darkened. When I opened my eyes, I was in my bed. Sunlight came through the window. Birds chirped outside. The house looked normal. For a moment, I believed I had dreamed the whole thing. Then I tried to move. My body didn't respond. My chest didn't rise. My hands didn't lift. I wasn't breathing. I drifted, I don't know how else to describe it, to the mirror. My body lay in the bed, eyes open. Still, the demon stood beside it, silent. "You belong to me," it said without moving its mouth. "And this house belongs to us now." The room grew dark even though it was morning. I realized the truth. The demon didn't want my life. It wanted my place. And now it waits. In the hallways. Behind the windows. Near the doors. It waits for someone else to be alone in this house. It waits for the next knock.